Hello, everybody. Welcome to the show. This is A B Siddiky, and today I'm accompanied by none other than the legend, the meme, John Tsai. So, John, this podcast is all about helping real estate agents grow smarter, think bigger, and build freedom. And who can do it better than you, John? So, I'm very excited to have you today. So, if you can take the floor and tell us about a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, so been in real estate now 19 years, going on my 20th year. And, we on average sell about 200 to 300 homes a year. Last year, we did 312 transactions with $280 million worth of real estate. Seven-time icon agent. Ever since 2022, we were a top 1% team. And I've been a top 1% agent since 2015 myself, President's Club here locally. Medallion Club multiple years, and Master Medallion, Diamond Medallion, whatever have you. And then I was the first president of eXp Realty Canada. Right now we have around, exactly 1,389 agents in our organization, and 62 agents on the Align Group team. And I've been a coach for real estate agents since 2014. Started off as a Mike Ferry coach professionally. And then as I went on, I mentored a lot of agents, and, today we have our own coaching company and an AI listing lead generation company called List More, Close More. And we're just out here creating as much helpful content as much as possible. And that's why we're here chatting today. So my mission is to help agents become more productive regardless of the market conditions. As you know, in the past 3 years, we've gone through pretty much of a downturn for 3 years. So, it's now more than ever needed for us for the leaders to step up and to help the next generation of realtors get started off on the right foot. So whatever experience level of agent that's listening to this, you may be able to gain some value, right? And that's my intention today as well. So thank you for having me, AB.
My pleasure, John. Thanks a lot for being here. So, John, let's start at the beginning. Like, what really inspired you to get into real estate, John?
Short, it's basically one book that started my whole journey. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. And within that book, it talks about residual income. It talks about being a self-employed person, being an employee, being a business owner, being an investor. So obviously, when I was given the book, I was only a student. And I only thought that, okay, get a job and get paid, and then that's the rest of your life. Work until you retire and then you die. But that book opened me up to the possibility of owning real estate and creating residual income through rentals. And so the reason why I got into real estate was to be able to create freedom, options, and choices for myself through reading that book. From there on, I read Rich Dad Poor Dad in the second book, the third book, Cash Flow Quadrant, Freedom from Investing, and then, to Tony Robbins, to Mike Ferry, to T. Harv Eker, to all these people, Landmark, Thach Nguyen, all these people that I learned from, who is who you see today. But it all started back from that book, Rich Dad Poor Dad.
So the Rich Dad Poor Dad book really inspired you to get into real estate and also have multiple sources of income. So that was the primary motivation, right?
Correct.
But what exactly brought you into being a realtor, let's say, for example? I mean, I don't know, like when you go to colleges or in high school, we never thought of becoming a realtor, right? So or did you have that thought previously?
No, never. It was only because of the thought of being able to own real estate to create residual income, to create financial freedom and time freedom for myself and my family. And it was more so like, okay, well, what's the best way to learn about that, right? Because I can learn it theoretically through reading a lot of books, which I did. And I took a lot of courses. Rich Dad Poor Dad actually had a 3-day course where I could take, which I did. But I thought, okay, the best way to learn is to go out there and do it. And then, I didn't have any capital. So I just said, okay, why don't I become a realtor so I can learn about it, save up and go buy real estate. So that was the only reason why I got in.
Yeah, I've also kind of a similar story. So I was given the Rich Dad Poor Dad book when I was in my first year in my college. And then again, same as you, I also explored the, the EBIT, like I don't exactly remember those terms that was taught, but kind of the similar story. And again, like how to own real estate. You were just a fresh grad, right? And that's how the whole realtor or the real estate agent thing came in. But John, was there any at any moment in your career in the early times, like challenges that you faced that give you the perception of quitting, or you wanted to really quit?
All the time I think about quitting, right? I mean, this is not an easy industry. I mean, there's so many times that it would have been a lot easier to quit. The easiest thing to do in real estate is quit, right? And we quit on a daily basis. We don't pick up the phone and call people. We don't pick up the phone and have the tough conversations with our sellers and buyers. We don't pick up the phone to generate business, to follow up on leads, right? We don't go out there and door knock. We're quitting before we actually quit, right? In 2008, I wanted to quit because I had $80,000 worth of debt. And 2010, I wanted to quit because the market turned. 2012, it was a really tough market. I wanted to quit. The only time I didn't want to quit, actually, in 2016, I was so busy, AB, that I wanted to quit.
Really?
I sold 149 homes as a solo agent. I had some help, but I really wanted to quit that year because what happened in 2017, January 1st came around. Can I do it again? Or should I just quit?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it would be a lot easier if I were just go get a job, because this grind here is wearing me down. 2018, I wanted to quit. 2019, we got into EXP. I was renewed energy, but I wanted to quit during COVID. I wanted to quit in 2022 when the market turned. I wanted to quit this year, So it's all like every single day, AB, I think about quitting.
Mm-hmm.
You want to quit when you have a lot of business. You want to quit when you have no business. So, what I say to that is like, why don't we just quit? Just think about holding it off until tomorrow. If you want to procrastinate on one thing, procrastinate on quitting.
Absolutely. That's a great advice. I mean, yeah, just hold on till the next morning, right? But John,
if you could do it one more day, just do it one more day and quit tomorrow. If you could just go through one more day. And that's how I approach it.
But how do you do it, John? The follow-up question is, right, like why you don't want to quit and keep grinding?
Well, in 2008, I thought to myself, okay, I'm $80,000 in debt. Let me just think about this, okay? If I quit, I can, with my degree of psychology, I can go be a social worker, which is an awesome, honorable job, but it would only pay me $35,000. And it would take me a few years to pay it off, right? And I don't want to carry that debt. And I felt like at that point, it's either I quit, or I keep going. I decided that I had nowhere else to go because I had goals. I have something at stake. I was going to put myself deeper into debt because I wanted to get married, and I wanted to marry, and I wanted to buy a home for myself and my wife. So if you have those goals, like, you can always go be a social worker, but it would just happen a lot slower.
Yeah.
So I wanted it faster.
Right.
I mean, it's all instant gratification, right? I wanted it and I wanted it now.
Mm-hmm.
But a lot of people want it now, but are not willing to take the instant action. If you want instant gratification, you got to take instant action. A lot of people want instant gratification. They do go into procrastination, which there's no reality in there because you want instant, but you're not willing to take instant action. I said I want instant gratification. I want to get married. I want to buy a home. I took instant massive action, which then I achieved my goals. In 2010, when we got married and we bought our first home.
Yeah.
In 2013, I paid off to the last penny all the $80,000. I was clean, free of consumer debt, and I now had a mortgage. So
yeah.
yeah.
So absolutely, John. And so I know that you are very, and still, I mean, I follow you ever since I came to Canada. First person I know is Denise, and second is you because you guys are so close and been following you so diligently. But John, I've seen like you have so much of high energy, and you have consistently. I never saw it going down. Maybe it is, but obviously you try to keep up all the time, right? So how do you still stay so energized, so motivated, not just spiritually, but also physically, like, following the routine, the discipline, managing so much, right, in one plate?
You want to be careful with noticing who I am, how I am being as well,
Mhm.
because no one can keep up the high energy all day long, right? I certainly can't, right? But what you see is snippets of me
Mhm.
on social media or in training because I turn it on, right? So I am introverted. So I actually recharge when I'm alone and I seem like I'm very low energy. I have those moments, right? But what you see is because I have to show up for my clients, I have to show up for my agents, I have to show up for this podcast 100% physically, mentally, emotionally.
Yeah.
Or else, how am I going to influence the next generation of agents that are listening to this? Right? If I showed up like, oh man, I'm tired today, ABO. My gosh, like I just, I don't know what to do with myself, and I think I'm gonna take a nap later. And that's not going to do anything for anybody. High energy equals high money. Low energy equals low money. Does that
So
make sense? So, it's just something at stake, and I always learn to turn it on.
mm,
I am an introverted extrovert where the introvert is natural, extrovert is trained. So I hope that helps. And I have to show up
absolutely.
for you, right? Well, I get to show up for you. You
Thank you,
asked me
John.
for a podcast, I'm going to show up 100% because that's who I am. But after this, I may go and just be stoic and read a book or meditate,
So you
right?
have your own way of recharging yourself, or taking some time off, rest, relax. Because what happened, I'll be very honest, like, newer agents, we really want to make things fast. We really want to do up. For example, I had like 4 open houses this weekend, and I was like burned out
Yeah.
literally, and I was so tired I can't even move. But then I was also excited to be with you to do this podcast, and then I have another open house this afternoon, right? So I want to be 100%. So obviously sometimes self-care is important, but as newer agents, you also forget that, right? So yeah. So John, has your why evolved? While your business started growing? Like, for example, right now you have such a big organization. So how has your why evolved from paying your bills to now growing your business?
Yeah, the why evolves, and that's a great thought because when I first started, I was like, okay, my why was to prove my dad wrong. My why was to earn $50,000 in a year, and then $100,000, and then $500,000, and $1 million. The why, the intention, you know, it evolves every single year. And right now, my why is to work efficiently so I can spend time with my girls, right, and to spend time with my wife. So how can I make my business scalable and profitable so then I can have time freedom?
Yeah.
But it wasn't always like that. Back 10 years ago, I was all about chasing the medallion, chasing the top 1%, chasing the 100 deals, chasing my ego to fulfill, to look good, right? And at some points in my life, even right now, there's still parts of that looking good or wanting to look good that I chase after as my why. And the more we can get away from that, I think the better you are, better off you are in terms of your mental health, actually, because the less you can think about how you look in front of people, the more freedom you can have. Because we create almost a jail for ourselves because of how we want to keep to looking good to other people, right? So again, that's off topic, but like my why evolves every step of the way.
Absolutely. And John, you mentioned that right now you want to build a freedom to, spend more time with your family. You were already very successful in your, previous brokerage or the previous part before joining EXP, right? So what draw you to EXP and explore it in the first place?
Yeah, that's a great question. I was working 12, 14-hour days easily, and sometimes 18-hour days, and 7 days a week. And so I thought I needed a way out. And especially 2016 was an absolutely crazy year. 2017 was more of the same. 2018, I was really, really burnt out. And at that point, I was exploring other options because I said, you know what, I need to have enough residual income to pay for my lifestyle, or else I'm going to work myself to death. And it got as serious as that. And my wife and I were pretty much roommates because I was out 7 o'clock in the morning. Sorry, I leave by 6:45 and I would come home at 10 o'clock at night. Tell me what kind of marriage that is, right? And on weekends, I would just be all over my phone anyways, talking business, negotiating contracts and all that. So I said, okay, why don't we build a brokerage? Because I know building a brokerage, becoming a business owner, remember the 4 quadrants,
Yeah.
right? Rich dad, poor dad. Okay, now I can become a business owner, go build a brokerage, which I can build some equity. If I were to sell the brokerage about 15, 20 years down the road, I have something to show for. At my previous brokerage, loved the people, but the structure was you sell real estate until you die. And there was
Yeah.
no exit strategy in sight. If you made enough money, you would purchase enough properties. But just to go off topic on that just a bit, I had 10 properties at that point. But my residual income net was negative $3,500 a month. I had a lot of equity tied up, but I didn't have enough positive residual income. So all I was doing was purchasing more properties so I can, work myself to death. So I said, okay, this has to go somewhere. So brokerage, we looked at Remax, we looked at Sutton, we looked at Keller Williams. And I chose Remax. I said, Remax, give us, a way out. They're like, okay, we're going to give you equity, obviously, if you build a brokerage, right? And we're going to give you residual income if you recruit agents and help them sell more real estate. You get a piece of it. Great. Awesome. They're going to give me Bold Trail, which was KV Core back then, and you can do more deals and send more leads to your agents. Yeah. I said, okay, great. How much is all this a franchise? A franchise back then, about 7 years ago, was $500,000 at Remax.
Wow.
And then I was almost going to sign on the dotted line. I got a loan ready. I didn't have 500,000, but I had 3 partners. They were all ready to go. I'll just go get a loan for $125,000 and I could, get exactly what I want, which is more time freedom. And EXP came along. One of my friends came to me and he said, John, take a look at this model and let me know what you think. And they're like, at EXP, we can give you equity, we can give you residual income, and we can give you Bold Trail for no extra cost. And the startup cost of getting residual income and equity is $199 Canadian instead of $500,000. Mm-hmm. So I started interviewing people, and I interviewed Brent Gove, Gene Frederick, Rob Flick, Cliff Freeman, Chris Bear, Steve Merritt, and my last interview was with Cliff Freeman. I hope.
Yeah,
I'll introduce
I know him. Yeah.
And so Cliff told me that, hey, John, I understand you are interested in EXP. You know the system works. You can earn residual income, build equity for yourself and your family. Let me ask you this. If you were to come to EXP and things don't work out, right? Equity doesn't work, revenue share doesn't work, and KV Core doesn't work. Who are you? I said, well, I'm still John Tsai selling 100 homes a year. I still be working 12, 14-hour days to no end, but I can take care of myself. It's a hard life, but it is what it is. I can always go back. I said, exactly. But if you were to give it a try, we don't tie you down to a multi-month or multi-year contract. I said, you know what? You got a point. Let me think about it, right? Before I let you go, Cliff, how much is your residual income right now? He said $55,000. I said, $55,000? Are you kidding me right now? That could take care of my business and personal expenses. That's on top of what I sell every single month. Right?
That was every month?
Every month. Every month.
I think I met Cliff in the EXP Miami, and then I think it's now around 500K a month or something. I don't know,
Correct.
like, but that was the number that I got to know and to 2025. Yeah.
Correct. That is right now. It is
So,
$500,000 a month for Cliff. But back then it was $55,000 about 7 years ago. And I said, you know what? Let me think about it. And I know the system works, the platform works. But I don't know if I can do it, because you always had those little self-doubt, right?
yeah.
And Crystal, my wife, heard the whole conversation, and she said, you better get involved with EXP now. We never see you.
Mm-hmm.
So I said, you know what? Let me just go try it, because I could still go back to Remax and get a loan for 125K, right? I could
Yeah.
always do that. So I got in and I never looked back. I said, this is my opportunity. So I started talking to all my friends about my new company, and my enthusiasm and excitement for the first year brought us to 165 agents in 1 year. And my residual income, which I've been, looking to get for the past 13 years in real estate, was $10,000 a month. I did that less than a year. With rentals here in Vancouver, I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
Right. So, I just kept going. Obviously, there's ups and downs in the market, ups and downs, and people leaving, people coming. And, I can say now that I probably never go to Remax.
John, I know it's very personal, but what's the average residual income that you make now with the XP? Or if you can just give an idea, I know you don't want to.
Yeah,
Like,
averaging about $50,000 to $55,000 a month right now, and it was a little bit higher, more like $60,000 to $65,000 a month before. So the market has pulled back, even though we have more agents who join us. Production has come down, so right now it's averaging in that range. But AB, it's a life-changing opportunity, because at $30,000, it sets my family free.
Wow.
I don't have to be here on this podcast. I don't have to be here running my team. I don't have to be anywhere. I can just say, hey guys, go ahead and take the team. I can log in my rev share, and I'll still be getting $55,000 a month, no matter what I do right now. But here's the thing. The fact that you are working so hard to seek comfort is the quickest way for you to chase mortality.
Mm.
Because if you're not growing, you're dying.
Yeah.
At 45 years old, I know I'm not super young, but I still got a long ways to go. And I've declared that, I will be working in this capacity until I die. I will be influencing the younger generation until I die. The day you don't see me doing podcasts and doing social media is the day I jump into a box.
Wow, that's a great commitment, John. Amazing. Wow.
Well, here's the thing. Like, what is life if not I'm not contributing and giving? I was the president of eXp Realty Canada 2023 to 2024. And that year I went back to 7 days a week, 12, 14-hour days, traveling 3 to 5 times a month. I said that was too much. Once I stepped down from that job, it was 4 days a week, 4-hour days. And I was bored out of my mind.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this is not life. And I actually got myself into trouble because I worked out too much, and I go ahead and injure myself badly on my tricep because I had too much time on my hands. All I did was overwork my body. So the quickest way to mortality is the aggressive pursuit of comfort, which was the intention from day one. I wanted to seek comfort, which is residual income covering all my personal expenses and business expenses so I can be financially free. Mm-hmm. I got it. But that's not what life is all about.
Yeah.
Right? So I hope that makes sense. I'm very long-winded.
John, cut me off if I'm taking too much time. I have a few more questions. I know, like, you are like, one thing I admire about you, John, is as you mentioned, how much you enjoy helping other agents. And I've seen people who are not even in your downline or from different brokerages, how they admire you. Like, everyone knows in Vancouver who John is, right? So why this is so important, John, to for you to give people what really motivates you so much. I know it takes you a lot of time, but yeah, if you can tell a little bit.
I think I've always been a giver. Good or bad, I think it comes from my upbringing, or inherently I'm a people pleaser, good or bad, right?
Mhm.
So for me, it was kind of like, I want people to like me. I want to look good. Okay. So then I feel like if I help people, I can A, look good, and people like me, good or bad. And that's just the truth, AB. And I'm not going to bullshit you on why I do it. Right? If I were to give you a surface answer, is I love giving to people, which is great. Yes, the secret to living is giving,
Yeah.
but it came from the inherent, you know, nature of me being a people pleaser and wanting to look good, which has gotten me in a lot of trouble because a lot of times I give too much and I burn myself out.
But you know what? You'll always get back the more you give. So, John, what kind of suggestions you have for people? I know you work with a lot of agents, right? So, for example, if someone feels stuck at their current brokerage, what would you tell them about the opportunity we have in EXP or just in general, right?
Yeah, I think you're just stuck and are you thinking of other options, reach out to us.
Yeah.
And we'd be happy to have a chat with you and just seeing where your business is at, right? And see where you are stuck and see how we can help you break through that. That's through my coaching, and I can help you, discover that. And on the platform side, EXP is just a platform, right?
Yeah.
EXP just gives you more resources, more financial benefits as an agent to move faster. But the coaching side is what Denise and I, and AB can help you with to help you break through the ceiling or the glass ceiling that you think you have, to break through the limits. And if you're having a hard time right now, just know that you don't have to be good. You don't have to be skilled. You don't have to be anything. The only thing you'll need to have is resilience,
Mhm.
right? And if you have resilience and you don't quit, and you have some grit in you, you're going to break through. And I promise you, you'll break through. And as you don't quit, you are going to run into people who will give you lend a hand to help you. They will give you the how to get to the next level. And whatever you see today, AB, is me not quitting and me running into people, the mentors, coaches, accountability partners that get me to this point. And I want to pay it forward. Right. So reach out to us if you have any questions about EXP, about any questions about becoming a better real estate agent, better salesperson. We can help.
But yes, and I know how helping John is. We have our role play group almost 4 days a week, 3 to 4 days a week. We are always there role playing with John's partners in Align Group. By the way, John's Align Group, I think John mentioned already, and the name of team John's team is Align Group. Wonderful team, wonderful people. John, my final question for this podcast before you go is, John, looking back, if you could talk to younger John just starting out, for example, agents like myself, or there are so many newer agents, right? What advice would you give them?
Yeah, don't dig into too much the how, and dig into more of the why you want to do it and what you want to have. Right? Because we always want to think about the next silver bullet or the magic pill to get me to a lot of business. Think about why you want what you want and what you actually want, because most agents know exactly what to do. They just don't know exactly what they want. If you get clear on what you want and why you want it, everything else will come together, and all you got to do is enjoy the journey as you go. Right? And in the last 19 years, it's been a journey of ups and downs, been a journey of a lot of suffering as well. So I would tell my younger self, you know what, just focus on what you want, because everything that you've declared came true. If I would have talked like 46 years old, talking to my 26-year-old self, everything you ever wanted came true. But why did you make it like so excruciatingly painful? So anxious all the time, so, angry. You drank so much, you went into doing things that you weren't supposed to do just to get to exactly what you want. Everything would come naturally, easily, and effortlessly if you just focus on the what and the why, and
Yeah.
everything else will be shown to you, and just enjoy it every single day. How old are you?
John, I am 32, John. I think,
32.
yeah, I'm not too young. So I think you touched a point about like what you want, right? But at the same time, sometimes we forget after having that, right? So I think having that, for example, for me, like, I didn't study in North America, so getting the real estate license with UBC wasn't so easy for me. It was, and then I was working full time. I was doing a recruiting job, which was from, I used to go out at 7, come back at 6, 7 as well. So it was pretty packed schedule, right? But I got it right with one try very quickly. I joined the school, get Fred, and then I got the license. Uh, but right after that, like some people start procrastinating. Oh, I have the license. I'll make the call tomorrow. I will go for door knocking next week, and then we forget our commitment, right? Why we started this. So totally
Yeah,
get
yeah.
this.
Hey, man. I just want to acknowledge you. Good job on doing this podcast, and good job
Thank you,
on
John.
business you've already done. And you're barely a few years, a couple years here in Canada,
Yeah,
and you're
less than
already
3 years. Yeah,
less than 3 years and making strides here. And you have the right people around you. That's for sure. You got
yeah, 100%.
my group around you, and you got me at your disposal. I'm here to help, and I'm just so proud of you,
Thank you, John.
for always showing up professionally, dressed to the nines, with a
Yeah.
big smile, energetic, enthusiastic. It's just really, really
Mhm.
refreshing to see. So congratulations
Yeah.
to you.
Thanks, John. And I just want to add one thing. I also I was having a chat with Denise, but I want to acknowledge EXP, my group, you guys so much because, I'll be very honest with you, John. My first listing ever I had was in Langley. That was in my first or second month after getting my license. And trust me, I never went to Langley before I got my first listing. The first buyer deal I did was in Chilliwack, and I never went to Chilliwack ever before my first possession. So I want to thank EXP because having this platform, having this training, because I was so fluent in my role play. I mean, the things to talk, the negotiation, those things like those location, those places doesn't even matter to my clients, right? So I think people who'd love to join EXP or having partnered with John, with Denise, will get everything they have. They're so giving. So I just want to say thanks to you as well, John, for creating this platform for us. And whoever is listening, please feel free to reach out. We're there to help.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, AB.
Thank you, John. Chat